Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel IELTS by Neil. Today we are going to talk about the structure and the basic format of IELTS exam. So to begin with, let's start with what does IELTS stands for. So IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System. So as the name suggests, it is an English test for international study, migration, and work purposes. For example, if a person wants to go to any English-speaking country like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, UK for work or to study, he or she will have to go through this test. This test was created by the Cambridge University, which is in UK. That's why most of the audios that you hear in this test are in British accent. Cambridge University made two organizations, British Council and IGP, which are responsible to conduct the test. So whenever you will need to book this IELTS exam, you will have to go to either of these two websites, and of course the results will be available on the same websites as well. There are two categories of IELTS. Number one is academic and another one is general training. So let's get to know what these categories are. So to begin with, let's start with academic. So academic IELTS is for those who wants to get admission in a foreign university in an English-speaking country. So again, if you want to get admission or if you want to go for higher studies in any English-speaking country, you will have to go for this academic IELTS. Coming on to the general training, this is an exam for those who wants to go for work permit or wants to apply for permanent residency in any English-speaking country. So basically, if a person wants to go for work to settle down in that country, he or she will have to go for general training IELTS. So before booking your exam, please be very sure that which one you need to go for. IELTS exam is further subdivided into 4 sections. Number 1 is listening, reading, writing, and the last one is speaking. Normally, first 3 sections, listening, reading, writing, they are conducted on the same day, and the speaking takes place either few days before or after the 3 sections. So for example, your listening, reading and writing were on 10th of September. Then the speaking could be any day from 7 to 10 September or 11 to 13 September. And you will get this information via text message or your email. Now let's talk about how you're going to prepare for this exam. I mean, from where you can get the best practice material which will help you to get your desired score. As you all are aware, there are a lot of practice materials available online, but please be aware that we cannot rely on these material completely. We should only follow official IELTS Cambridge books. Even if you do the latest Cambridge series, that's still enough. The latest one is 16, so I would recommend if you can do book number 9 to book number 16, that will still be enough to get your desired score. And if you still want to do practice, of course you can do even before the 9. Okay, next is IELTS exam can be done in 2 different ways. So for example, if you want to go for IELTS, you can do either online IELTS, we also call it computer delivered, and there is offline IELTS that is called pen and paper based. This is pen and paper and this is computer delivered. So in the pen and paper based, as the name suggests, you will have to write your answers with pen and paper, whereas in an online exam it is conducted on computer. There is no such difference in the pattern of the exam. You will get the same exam in the both online and offline. However, the only difference is that for online exam, you will get the result in 3 to 4 days, whereas it takes around 13 working days to get the result for the offline, that is pen and paper exam. My recommendation would be, don't go for an online IELTS exam until or unless you are very much familiar or very much friendly with typing on computer and of course using the computer. Also, there is a very popular question, that is, how many times can I take this exam? Well, you can write it as many times as you want, but I would suggest not to book one after another. This will be a complete waste of your time and money, of course. So, if you got a low score in your first attempt, do not book another one straight away. Take some time to analyze the areas in which you can improve. Work on those areas, and when you're confident enough, then only book another one. Now let's discuss briefly all the 4 modules, or we call it sections, of the IELTS exam. So number 1 is listening. In listening, you will hear an audio track for 30 minutes and the questions will be asked based on that audio track. So you have to listen to the audio track very carefully, and the total number of questions would be 40, and the time given to do that will be 30 minutes, and of course you will get extra 10 minutes to transfer the answers to the answer sheet. Please note that these extra 10 minutes are only in the listening, and the questions that are asked in the exam will be in increasing order of difficulty, which means first 10 questions will be really easy and the last 10 questions will be more complicated, or you can say difficult, than the first 10 questions. Next section is the reading. This is the second section of IELTS exam. In this section, you will get long paragraphs and questions will be asked from the text in the paragraph. So to perform well in this reading section, you are required to read fast and locate the keywords. And of course, this section requires really good time management skills, because you only get 60 minutes to do this test and 40 questions are asked. And again, first 10 questions really easy, last 10 questions really difficult. Okay, coming on to the third section of the IELTS, that is writing. Writing is again for 60 minutes and it is further subdivided into 2 tasks. Please note that writing task 1 is different for academic and general training. However, task 2 is same for both. But let's start with the task 1. So in the task 1 for academic, you will be required to write a report describing the graph, table, pie chart, diagram, anything. You will need to write minimum 150 words explaining those diagrams or the graph. Diagrams can be anything: graph, table, bar graph, line graph, flow chart. It can be anything. And for task 1 in general training, that is pretty simple. You just get a letter writing. A letter can be a formal, can be informal, can be semi-formal. Again, you have to write 150 words. And for the task 2, you will get an essay and you will need to write 250 words. So for the 60 minutes which you get in this exam, how we divide is we keep 20 minutes for the task 1 and we keep 40 minutes for the task 2, because of course this task 2 carries the more weightage, so of course we're gonna spend more time on this one. Please note that for the task 1, 150 is the minimum word limit, and task 2, 250 is the minimum word limit. Anything less than that, you might end up losing marks. Coming on to the last section, that is fourth section of IELTS, that is speaking. Speaking takes place for around 11 to 14 minutes and it is further subdivided into 3 parts. On the exam day, when you will enter the room, your part 1 will take place. So what's going to happen in the part 1 is that examiner will ask you very general questions like, what do you do? What are you studying? Where do you work? Do you like your work? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Movies you like? Pretty general questions, and you don't have to give long answers, and of course not too short. For example, if they ask you, what are your hobbies? So you just can't say reading or playing. Okay, you have to say that, well, I like to read, however, I like fictions or I like motivational books. After asking you these general questions, you will be given a topic, okay, on which you will have to speak for 2 minutes. And of course, before you speak, you will get 1 minute to prepare. So make sure you make the most of that 1 minute. Write some keywords, make some notes on the pen and paper, and of course you will get the pen and paper in the exam. After you finish the topic, part 3 will take place. In this, we also call this a discussion session. So you will be asked questions based on the topic. And of course, you don't have to give really short answers. You have to give little longer answers than the part 1. Coming on to the band scores. So band is the name of scoring system created by Cambridge University for IELTS exam. So bands are given from 1 to 9, where 1 is the lowest and 9 is the highest. So this goes from this order to this order. You will get band score for each section, like for listening, reading, writing and speaking. You will also get an overall band score, which will be an average for all 4 modules. So you will have to prepare according to your needs. Some universities ask for 7 bands or some 6 bands. It really depends what course you're going for. And if you're going for work purposes, some employers may ask for 7 bands each, or some they may ask for 8 each. So you will have to prepare according to your desired band score. I hope I have covered all your basic queries for the IELTS exam. And yes, of course, before I forget, there's a very important thing that you will definitely need your passport to book your exam. Without a passport, you will not be allowed, or you will not be even able to register for the exam. So please make sure that you get your passport ready before you even prepare for the exam. If you have any questions regarding the structure or the format of an IELTS exam, or anything that we have discussed before, please do let us know in the comment section. That's all for today. Thank you for your time.